This lesson we are going to learn about nested if statements. So how to use multiple if statements to achieve your goal. So we have a situation here. The traffic signal either could be red, green or yellow, and based upon that we have to give an instruction. So let's try to give a simple if instruction. If this cell G3, well, let's say if open brackets, this cell G3 is equal to code, and in the code I'm going to say red, then comma. If this is the test, if G3 is red, then the value is, I'm just going to say it is stop. Okay, let's not write about what is false statement. Okay, let's just only write if it is check if it is true or not, right? So if it is red, this is going to be instruction is stop. Right now, what is happening when it's red? Just stop, because you're not given what happens when it falls. Let's say what it is going to be green, it'll just say false, right? Because you're not given what to do when it is false, right? So it will just say false, right? So if it is yellow also, it'll just say false. Only when it is red, it will say stop. Okay, now let's write another statement, which is when it is green. Okay, okay, here it says false, right? So now I'm just going to keep it like this, and then I'm going to say green. Okay, and I'm going to write a similar statement here. Okay, let's say the same thing, but what I'll do here, instead of red, I just have the green written here itself, green. Now what I'll do here in the false, whatever we had value is false, here I'll write another if statement. Okay, which is check if G3 is equal to green, right? So now in this is a separate if statement, and within this statement there is a true and false. When it is green, what we want, say comma, say go. Okay, and let's say I'm not going to write what happens when it is false. Okay, and I'm just going to write a double quote. I'll close the bracket. So what is happening, there's a if statement. If this is the condition, and when it is true, this should happen. But when it is false, there's another if statement here. So it will come here. When it is false, it will check this, and what will happen in this, if G3 is green, then it will say go, and whatever is false, you have not written again here, right? So let's try to come back here. When it is red, it says stop. When it is green, it says go. So this is what is called a nested if statement. So there is a if statement within another if statement, and that is the reason it is called a nested if. Okay, so now let's say what happens when there is false, another if statement. I'm just going to say if G3 is equal to yellow, then when it is true, I'm just going to say get ready. I'm just going to say ready. Okay, and then when it is false, I'm not writing anything again. Okay, so what this says is, this particular statement says is, you should actually have a three brackets here to close. Do you want me to add it? So you can type it yourself, or you can just say yes. Okay, now let's say when it is red, it is stop. When it is green, it is go. When it is yellow, it is ready. Okay, but what happens if I say it is blue? It is false, right? So now to even address this, what you can do here is, you come into your formula, and then here what you can do, you can write another what happens when it is false. Okay, so let's say sometimes writing a condition or something becomes challenging. Here there's a formula bar. In this formula bar, you can continue your formula. I can say comma. When it is false, I'm going to say incorrect, incorrect entry. Okay, so I'm just going to say this, then you can just bring it back. Okay, now I'm just going to say red, green, yellow, white, incorrect, right? So this is how you work with a nested if statement, right? So now this was nested if, right? So let's also understand something about and or statements. So in this lesson we'll understand and or, right? So let's say there's a class where the condition is, if a person is passing if both his scores of English and maths are 60 or more, but they are eligible for merit only when either one of them is 90 or more. Okay, so let's say we have two things, English and maths. Okay, English, whatever score is there, like for example we give a statement which is 56 and then math is 45. Okay, I'm just going to just align it better. Now you have this. Okay, now 56 and 45. So what will happen now? Both scores have to be 60 or more, only then it will be a pass. If not, it will be a fail, right? So let's say if I'm just going to say equal to, the formula for and is like this, and I'm just going to say and this one should be greater than 60. It's what they say is 60 or more, so you can just say greater than or equal to 60, comma, then next one math also should be greater than or equal to 60. Okay, I'm just closing the and. If it is true, it will show as true, right? If it is, then we'll just check that also. And what it says, it's false. Let's say both of them are above 61. Yes, 64. Now it is true, right? So this and statement, what it did is it is checking if this and this both are true, right? Only when it is true, then it is going to show as true. If let's say the condition is one of them is less, it will say false, right? What is happening here is it is an and statement checks both your conditions, this and this both are true or not, right? So let's look at, I'm just going to say pass. Okay, I'm just going to write pass. It says, okay, so what we're going to do is it says false. Now, because this is false, because this is not happening, then the person has failed, right? So if both of them are true, let's say that this one, both of them are above 60, then it is true. Okay, did pass. I'm just going to put it like this. Okay, I'm just going to make it 45. It's false, it passed, false, it did not pass it. Okay, now the next question is got merit. Now how does that work? Is to say here or, because you just have to get one of them to be over 90. Okay, now if I'm just going to say, I'm just going to say open the brackets and then E12 should be greater than or equal to 90, or this one has to be greater than or equal to 90. Now if one of them is 90, then it is merit. Okay, so just say based upon this condition, this is an imaginary condition, so some there could be a further condition where they have to be first pass and then only then they'll get merit. Okay, so then that could be another condition also, but just to understand this concept, it's very simple. If you have both of them over, then it is true, did pass, yes, got merit, true, right? So now how do you use your and statement with an if statement, right? So now what we're going to do is simply, I'm just going to say here equal to if, and I'm just going to just click this if this is true, and I'm just going to say, I'm just going to say passed. Okay, let's say I'm just going to fail this person. Okay, this is false, right? How do you do that? Passed. If it's not for, if it is false, then you say failed. Okay, now I'm just going to say if this is true or false, we're checking this because this statement checks if it is true or false, then it will say passed or failed. Okay, now let's say here it is 45 and 45 failed. Let's say this is 70 and 80. Yeah, the and statement resulted in true, and that is the reason this is pass. So now here, instead of writing this formula here, this cell, what I can do is I can just go here, copy this whole and statement, and instead of this I can just replace it here. Here another and is not required, right? So what it does is if you'll check this and statement, okay, if both of these are true, then passed, else failed, right? Now I'm just going to set it pass. Now let's say one of them is less, failed. Okay. Similarly, got merit also is very easy. I'm just going to I'm just going to do here. I'm just going to make another if statement, which is very similar to this statement. So I'll just copy it here. And here I'm just going to say that I'll replace this and I'll say merit, and I'm just going to say when it is false, no merit. Okay. What is the condition? The condition is E16, right? Okay. So both of them have to be 90 or above. Now one of them has to be 90 or above, right? Now if E16, here I forgot double quotes, E16, if this is true, what one of them is over 90, then it is merit. Let's say if one of them is not even 90, then it's false. Then what happens if this is false? That means it goes here and says no merit. Okay. Now I'm going to just take this or statement and combine it with if statement, right? Now if you see this, it's a simple formula, one line formula where you have this, right? So now what you can do is, now if it is, you can just give random numbers based upon that. Okay, this person failed and there is no merit. Okay. So that is how you use and or in combination with if, and you also learn and or.